Hello everyone, namaste. I'll start with that today. The light in me recognizes and acknowledges that exact same core light in you. Isn't that amazing? So if we could all feel that all the time within ourselves and within others, that true eternal core beingness, all that is actually really true, unlike the form, which is temporary. So if we recognize that in ourselves and everyone all the time, we know our innate perfection, that nothing could ever really be wrong in the presence of your true essence, right? So we'll start with that today because we're going to talk about, I wanted to share a process, an exercise, whatever you want to call it, to repolarize, to divinitize, to purify food, water, call it energy work if you'd like. And I wanted to share this today because I've talked to and worked with a lot of people who are very, number one, have a little bit of judgment about the medical industry, pharmaceuticals, medicines, foods, the things that are put in our foods, people who have food allergies, things like that. So I'm going to share today just a quick and easy thing that I did for a lot of years to purify, to remolecularize the food, the water, my home, my surroundings, and my body. It's energy work that we can all do. And we're all energy workers all the time. You're always doing energy work. Do you know that? Whatever you're sending out. So when we consciously choose to take our awareness into bringing pure source light through into things, it just automatically changes the molecular structure. Even within our own bodies, it helps to everything to open up, we'll say rearrange, realign, old energies moving out, your pure source consciousness moving back in or in for the first time, as many of us are here now at a level of consciousness that we've never embodied before. So bringing more of that through. So before I get started and share with you the procedure, if you will, it's a bad word, but I'm just going to do a little bit of, give you some information on it. So we'll start with the conceptual stuff and then move into the practice. But, you know, like I've shared many times, 10, 12 years ago, I was on a super high load of medications. Antidepressants, anti-anxiety, ADD, bipolar meds. And I liked to then have a drink or two at night to calm myself down. It was a constant rebalancing of really the brain chemicals and everything, energy. Before that, because I was only on those meds for like 2 years, in my 20s and my 30s, I think I did every diet. I was vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, whole foods only, raw foods only, mostly protein, and then mostly fat, and then mostly vegetables. You know, for many months I did just fruit and vegetables. So I did explore all these, we'll say, nutritional belief systems, because they are all belief systems. And not to say that any books written about health and nutrition are wrong, because they're all right in their own way, with the test subjects or the person that wrote it. But what happened for me personally, a big part of my physical health going down, was I read all the books. I wanted to get all the information because I wanted my body to be as healthy as possible. It was a big focal point for me. And the more books I read, every diet, every scientific study of the millions of them contradict one another. One says eggs are good, and then eggs are bad, and then eggs are good, the yolks are bad, the yolks are good. It changes all the time. So what started happening for me was I had so many beliefs, and with all these different systems, meat is bad. Oh, now vegetables are bad because they're probably all coated with pesticides, or certain certain foods are alkaline. I did the alkaline diet. But once you have ingested all of this information, it's all in your mind, and it all contradicts, and the body becomes completely confused. So your body is always, we'll say, affected by your beliefs. It's always eavesdropping on your mind, whatever you believe. And so when you're saying, oh, I shouldn't eat this, it's bad for me, or I shouldn't eat that, pretty soon, if you've read everything is bad for you. Everything causes cancer. Everything is bad in one system that is good in another system. And my body just kept shutting down to the point where I couldn't eat anything. So the approach ended up being, for me, and we'll say the inside out healing, having not, I haven't visited a doctor's office for many, many years. I don't have insurance, and I haven't been sick. If I get sick, I'll go. But I'm about 10 years now, no prescriptions, no supplements, I don't take any vitamins. Not that they're bad, but I did in the past. At some point, when we get into a clear embodied state, and for me that was my physical health was a big part of my wake-up call, and it was the time in which I awoke and went, oh wow, the real, we'll say, primary reason that I'm here first and foremost is to wake up and remember that I'm this eternal being, pure consciousness, spirit, whatever, and to align with and embody that to basically clear out all this old conditions, beliefs, etc., and stay in alignment with my heart, call it your soul, your higher levels, your higher self, or whatever, which is just you. So I decided to go that route, just rip off the Band-Aids. I'm just going to the end. If you've heard this, it's a beautiful, if there's change you want to make in your life, you can take baby steps, but I highly recommend to start at the end. Just go all the way, just as far as you can imagine. What is the best, what is the ultimate goal? So I decided to start at the end. And what that means is, instead of, now there were a lot of baby steps along the way, because this was a process of almost a decade. But I came to realize, okay, if my body is completely energetically clear, meaning all this old energy I've embodied, old emotions, belief systems, conditioning, all the ancestral stuff, all the patterning, when that's cleared out, my body can be in optimal health all on its own. I won't even need to detox, For years now, I've been in complete health. I don't even do detoxes anymore. But I started at the end instead of going for this full on, and decided to align with that right up front. And what happened was amazing. So there's a lot of little tips, tools, and things, and I think a potential that I'm starting to look at is to start maybe a program like Body Mastery, because there's a lot of little phases and levels and layers and tips and practices and things along the way, but the main knowing was, if I'm aligned with myself, walking my walk really from my heart, not from what society says, or not giving way to any fears of the exponential world. If I'm embodied of and as myself and acting from that place and creating from that place, then the physical health takes care of itself. The body knows how to heal. The body, I don't have to tell it how to heal a paper cut. Okay, white blood cells, let's organize. Your body knows exactly what to do. And we'll call it yourself, your energy, your true essence, your pure consciousness, and then your presence, which can be felt, but it's formless, and then your energy, which is another, we'll call it level. It all knows how to rebalance and realign when you are in alignment with yourself. So, how do we get there? First of all, the key that I've mentioned over and over is being present in our presence, not thinking. Because when we're thinking, it's like a barrier, really. It stops the energy from moving, from expanding, it doesn't really stop it, but when you take a breath, if you want to take a breath with me right now, let's take a deep breath in. And then exhale. Just have no thought. Take another breath. And then exhale. Just feel your presence opening up in those spaces in between thoughts. Your consciousness, your presence expands, and then the energy moves and it realigns for you. So this tip that I'm going to show you is something that I did many, many, many times every day. So many times throughout the day, I would take a breath and feel my presence, because that's what we're going to do. So let's say you have a medication, a beverage, whatever. I'll just use my coffee here. And I'm going to recommend, if you want to go all the way, to just be done with it. Rip the Band-Aid off. Go all the way with starting at the end, and that is being present in your presence with everything. And we'll start with food. So if you have a plate of food, a cup of coffee, take a deep breath, and then place your hand over it. And feel the palm of your hand. And just do this with me now. Just stick your palm out and feel it. Take a deep breath. And let's just command the palm, which is a portal, there's a vortex here, to open. And just feel. Do you feel warmth? Do you feel particles moving? Do you feel energy? You feel something. Whatever you feel is perfect. I'm going to set my cup down here. And then as you're feeling, because really the important thing here is that you're feeling your presence in the palm of your hand. You're connecting to you right now. You are embodying more when you do this simple little exercise. So we're going to take a breath. Feel the particles, feel the energy, feel the heat, feel the flesh, whatever it is you feel. And now repeat after me. I repolarize this substance to vibrate in perfect harmony with my body now. My body takes all that complements it, and it passes the rest right through. And so it is. Now, were you feeling the particles in your hand as you did that? You want to stay connected to your senses, to feeling. This is energy work. Now, why would something that seems so silly be so amazing, right? Doesn't it seem like, really? That's going to really change my life? Well, this is one trick of many. This is one tip of many. But I'm going to break this down for you. First of all, when you say, I repolarize this, that's not a mental game. As you're feeling these particles and your intention is to repolarize it, meaning you don't have any agenda. You're just clearing out any energy. You're just purifying it back to its pure form. So if there was any gunky energy in your food, the cow that died was in fear, whatever energies might be in your food. So, or medications. And this little tip, it works. You can put your whole house in your hand, your refrigerator, your water, your electronics. You can do anything with this. I'd highly recommend taking a few moments, breathing, really opening up and really feeling that energy move. But first of all, if you've watched the studies on the molecular structure of things that we send thoughts to, you know that science has absolutely verified this now, thank goodness, that whatever energy you send, when you send energy to something, it changes the molecular structure. So right there, you are now like a molecular scientist or something. The other thing is what I said earlier, your body is always listening. So when you're reading all these books or watching this show, or the doctor says this, but this person says that, and you're like, I don't know what the answer is. I am not sure. Your body is like, all right, we're shorting out because we're not sure if we're doing the right thing. Okay? When you're saying my body takes everything that complements it and it passes the rest right through, that's the intention going into this as you change the structure of your substance, but your body is hearing that. And every time you eat or every time you take a medication, your body's like, I got it, I got it, I got it, okay? I've had no digestive issues the last 10 years. You know, my body takes what it needs and it passes the rest right through. So that's another benefit. A third benefit that is of the utmost importance is every single time you do this, you're stopping and you're taking a breath. You're disengaging from the thinking mind, you're disengaging from the outside world, you're feeling your presence. And I've stopped and felt my presence like a million times, you know, since starting this journey. The more we feel our presence, the more it integrates, the more it expands, the more clear we become, the more the energies rebalance. So, you know, some people stop and breathe for a few minutes every day, or, you know, whatever, meditate. This is I'll say even better, because you're getting a lot out of one little thing. It does a lot for you. So the feeling of your presence and the connecting with yourself and feeling instead of thinking really is key here. I shared a video a while back, I think I called it Yes or No, about muscle testing, taking it from muscle testing to feeling a yes or no in your body. It could be, is this food good for me? It could be, is this job good for me? It could be, should I stay or should I go from this job or situation? It could be, I've got 5 doorways. Which one do I choose first? Being able to feel a yes or a no in your body is huge. Today, just to give you an example of how this works for me, you know, I did this food thing every day, repolarizing like all my food, and I just stopped all the diets. I just literally stopped every diet and bought whatever I felt like eating. I lived on ice cream and pizza and potato chips a lot during the 2 years that my body healed from the inside out. So it wasn't about the food, it was about the energy, okay? I'm not advocating that's your diet, I'm just telling you what I did. But if you like pizza. No, so anyway, but the thing is, besides doing this, I shared that yes or no and that feeling of a yes or no. What I started doing was every meal, every day, every vitamin, every nutrient, every herb. I did a lot of Ayurvedic herbs at one time, or, you know, the flower remedies, all that kind of natural stuff. So I did prescriptions, I did all natural, pretty much everything and anything I could find to try to help my body with all sorts of stuff that was going on. But this connecting and feeling, whether you're repolarizing your food or feeling a yes or no, I started doing that every time I ate. Asking the body, do you want food, yes or no? Do you want protein, or do you want this, or do you want, you know? And it's not a question if you're a muscle tester, you know, it's a statement. The body would like protein. No, okay, great. I was craving some sugar. But for years what happened was there were times when my body just wanted protein. There were times when the body wanted bread. There were times when the body wanted to drink a bottle of avocado oil or 2 or 3 in like 2 weeks. So it's so funny because when you go direct with your body, you're getting a direct answer. You can go to a doctor, they can run panels of tests and give you these nutrients, these ideas, yada, yada, yada. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, and if you're doing that, great. But this is available. Today, I don't ask my body really almost ever. I already know. The integration of your knowingness through your whole physical body becomes so seamless that it's like I already know before I would have to ask a question that my body wants more water today, that my body wants less food, that it wants more movement, whatever that might be. Once in a while now, my body will ask for a little bit of minerals or maybe a little lemon water, different things. It's usually based on, if it wants something today, it's usually based on me putting it a little out of balance. Like, my body wanted years ago to detox, and we did some detox. And then it wanted some supplements, like some fish oil, and I'm trying to remember, like B12 vitamins, different, just a few, but very specific things. Iron, red meat, lot of animal protein. Sorry, vegans, but it's the most, my body told me, it can do the most with this, the easiest. It's just going to speed up this process. And so at one point I was drinking raw eggs. Not my favorite thing, but I got sick of eating them. So anyway, so there was a detox. There was some rebuilding. And today there's no supplements really needed. Unless, for example, my body doesn't require much food these days. It's always saying, yeah, you could eat way less. And I eat more than what it wants. I check, is this okay? I want to make sure I'm not taxing the digestive system. But then there's times where we'll have a little lemon water or apple cider vinegar because I probably ate like a whole bunch of, I don't know, sweets or something, and just to rebalance. But the thing that I want to impress the most is that this is available, this direct connection. It started out, as hard to hear, hard to discern. I'd have to do the sway testing, and then it got more and more and more and more and more integrated. And today, when I talk to people that are trying to figure out this health problem or that health problem or this diet thing or that diet thing, it's like, I can't imagine what that would be like anymore to try to figure that out externally when all the answers are just right here. So you don't have to reach into the file folder in your mind of everything you've ever read or everything the doctor's ever told you about this health condition. And there's still times where I might Google or go on YouTube and get some ideas. Like, I know the body wants a certain kind of movement, and I might get some ideas on how to do that or some inspiration, things like that more. But it is absolutely possible to go direct. Your body knows everything that it wants. It knows how much sleep, how much exercise, how much food, what types of nutrients, if it wants a day in nature. The body has its own consciousness and its own wisdom. I don't think I want to call it intelligence, but obviously it knows how to rebuild and do all these processes that our brains, would take a really long time to learn. So, one easy way to start is to repolarize your food. And honestly, I realized recently talking to a few people, I never do this anymore. I never ever, it started to wear off. It just started to be annoying. And so this is another thing as I went through this. Today, it's like I repolarize the food the minute I walk through the aisle at the grocery store. It's like you just start to know that it's done. And it's funny because we were trained or conditioned or whatever, raised in a world that believed that all the information comes from the outside and all the sustenance comes from the outside. When in fact, our breath and our presence it has all the wisdom, knowledge, information, our own body, mind, and presence, really everything is right there. when we learn how to tap into it, when we build that relationship with our bodies that we, at one point, probably most of you too, I was very sort of disengaged from my body. I wasn't fully in my body, feeling my presence all day. I was avoiding a lot of the sensations, right, with emotions and stuff. So as we become more embodied with that, the knowing is direct, and the body can be your guide. So instead of having to learn through the mind what the body needs, if you're willing to put that aside and go direct with your body, that's a great option for long-term health. And nobody can ever take that away from you. You know what I mean? There's no book you need. There's no doctor. Your body might say, I need a doctor. That's fine if you have to go get a procedure done. But the other key with all this healing and transformation and stuff that I went through was no judgment. So I had judgment about the medical system. I had judgment about chemicals and prescriptions and the stuff in the food and blah, blah, blah. So part of that was letting it all go. Letting it all go. Because why would you want to stuff any of that information into your body as well? It just gives it more challenges, more dysfunction. So when we make the commitment to let that all go and come into our presence and simply purifying our food can make a big impact on how your body responds to whatever it is you're putting in it. So it's a super quick, easy thing. Probably take a few minutes a day if you want to give it a try. You might find a little better luck with what you're putting in your mouth. All right, thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.